How's your day going? Getting ready for this winter storm. Just everybody needs to be prepared for this, especially in the deep south. If you guys are in any of the pink, blue, or especially if you guys are in the dark pink, purplish, you guys need to be prepared for possibly days without power if you guys are in those areas. Like I said, we were going to give the people a couple more minutes to join up before we start looking at the models and everything. Hello. We are live again after the test. Getting ready for this winter storm. Historic winter storm, especially here in Tennessee. We could be seeing a lot of ice, especially in my area of Middle Tennessee. Right, gonna give them a couple more minutes to come in before we look at all the models. It is looking like ice for a lot of the areas in Tennessee, Mississippi, a lot of northern Alabama, especially in the Georgia, Atlanta area. I've seen a lot of models show a lot of snow for that area, especially just being just south of the Appalachian Mountains, especially where they start. The rising motion from the moisture going up the mountain is going to give a lot of the North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia area a lot of freezing rain, and that could be pretty bad for them areas. Up to 5 viewers. Wow. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope your guys' day is going well. And we're probably going to start looking at the models here in about 2 minutes once everybody gets joined in and gets ready for this. Gets ready for the first live stream forecast discussion I've done. I'm excited. Let's go ahead and get the screen marker pulled up so I can start to draw. Oh, it's already here. Let's put it on my second monitor. All right. Man, we are looking at a lot of winter storm warnings all the way from Santa Fe all the way up to Boston at all these winter storm advisories, warnings, and statements. So, looking at this area mainly for ice, that's where I'm concerned for large. I mean, not large, but sorry. It's a lot of sleet and a lot of freezing rain, especially freezing rain there. That's where the bullseye looks to be for maybe almost an inch or an inch plus of snow. Or not, sorry, snow. What? Freezing rain. Sorry, ice. That's where that's going to be. So, looking at this area on the models, they have been trending a lot on this area being the bullseye for the main ice. Like I said earlier, I think there's going to be another bullseye setup in Georgia and North Carolina with the downsloping of the mountains and the cold air damming that's going to happen. We will explain that later when we look at the models and I show the temperatures. But yeah, I think I'm getting ready to start doing the model analysis, y'all. We are going to get started on that now. Let's go ahead and take a look at, this is the GFS model. So we are looking at the American model, the newest run, the 18Z run, and we're going to be looking at the Ohio Valley region first. So going into Saturday, we're looking like the big snow is going to be coming in around this area in the Arkansas area and the Missouri area. Now it's going to be heavy snow, and just south of that it's looking like sleet and freezing rain in these areas. And that's why I said this area is going to be the best for ice. Now, that's not a good thing, but it's going to be the maximum for ice. Now, luckily on the GFS, this newest model, it looks like we've trended a lot toward more sleet than freezing rain. And why is this bugging out? Sorry. More sleet than freezing rain, but it just seems like it's just going to be a giant mess. Everyone in this area is going to just get a giant mess. That's southern Tennessee, northern Mississippi, northern Alabama. As you guys can see, just that mixed precipitation looking like setting up in that area. And then the second part of that coming in on Sunday, and it still looks like just freezing rain and ice for southern Tennessee and northern Mississippi. And that's probably what the precipitation type is going to be like the entire time. So, really just looking like a ice there. And everyone above that, you guys can see those vibrant blue colors. We are looking like a lot of snow in these areas, especially if you guys are in Arkansas, in Missouri, and Kentucky, even in the Virginias, all this, especially if you live down here, you guys are going to be seeing a lot of heavy snow. But it really looks like a lot of ice for the deep south, especially you guys can see down here by the mountains in this area. I'm also concerned of right there in central Georgia, that kind of band of heavy freezing rain that I'm also concerned for. So we're going to be taking a look at the snow totals now. Let's go ahead and get that pulled up. And we're looking at this newest GFS model has really trended down, honestly, down south. Just looking at the counties and everything affected. Now, I think this is a little broad of a snow sector, you know. I think it'll be more like this, but the GFS, I do seem to agree with the GFS putting these snow totals around 10 in, I think a little, take away maybe 5 inches from this, and you'll probably get an accurate snowfall rate. So I think around this area, everyone in this area could see around 6 to 10 inches. That's the goal. 6 to 10 inches is what I think is a safe bet. And locally higher amounts, obviously, in these northern areas. Up here, you guys can see up to 20 inches. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. I think maybe 15 inches. How long am I going to keep my Christmas tree up? I'm actually going to keep it up all year. I mean, I'm going to take it down here probably this week or next week, but I mean, I could keep it up all year if I wanted to. It's a cool decoration back there. Man, yeah. The snow you could get on that model. If anyone would like to put where they're from, see where everyone is at, or if you want me to cover your area, you guys can. I will look at your area on these models and tell you what you will get if you guys want to do that. But looking at the GFS, yes, this looks insane for a lot of people. And obviously, I think it might be overdoing this snow a little bit, like I've talked about. So take away maybe 5 inches, 6 inches from this, and that would be a reasonable guess. Now we're going to take a look at the Euro model, which is the last of the long range models I want to take a look at. Looks like the 18Z run is not all the way out yet. We will look at the old run. So this was earlier today, and we probably want to go back to precipitation type on this. Yeah. So this model has everything starting around Saturday morning. Okay, south near Pittsburgh, PA. So I'll cover you in a second. I just want to get through these models, and then we'll get to the Northeast here. So looking at the snowfall here, it looks like starting off is snow. A lot of the models are agreeing that starting off is snow in a lot of these areas in the deep south and northern Alabama, snow and wintry mix down there. But this model, as you can see, has a lot more freezing rain than it does. It has a lot more freezing rain than it does sleet. That is the main problem with the ice totals on this model. This looks like it's going to be a lot more freezing rain, but it also is showing a huge warm nose. So basically, when this cyclone happens, it's going to pull up Gulf of Mexico moisture up and pull the cold air behind. So that's why you're seeing all this snow on the back end as the cold air comes in and a lot of this rain. Now, I don't think this rain is going to be here because this rain is a little overdone, honestly. a lot of the models have trended toward keeping the ice in the middle Tennessee area, down south toward northern Mississippi. So I don't think this rain is going to be here on the models. So I'm going to look at the NAM model. This model also is agreeing with the Euro. This might start to become a trend, but looking at some of the models earlier today as I was looking at them, it doesn't seem to be a trend. Now, this model really, like I said, it's going to have the rain all up into middle Tennessee, even southern Kentucky. Looking at, I mean, it's just going to be all rain. I do not believe this model solution is going to happen. It starts off as sleet for a lot of us in the deep south and keeps the snow way off north. That does not agree with all the other models. Now, this is the HRRR. This is one of the most accurate storm predicting models that we use in looking at convection and everything during storm season. So this can be used to track snow. And it doesn't go out very far, but it's going to give us a good idea on what it's predicting. So honestly, this model is agreeing probably with the GFS. It says it's going to start off as snow, but then it's going to continue to lift that warm front up north and get this cold boundary of freezing rain. Now, this is going to be exactly what the GFS was showing. And for our folks down here in Texas, this model is going to be good because we can see down what's going on over down here. And it looks like the Oklahoma area is just going to get hit with a ton of snow, ton of heavy snow. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw maybe 10 to 20 inches in this area. This could be a hot spot for snow, especially as this goes on. Looks like a lot of rain in Texas. That's what I'm thinking. A lot of rain in most of central Texas, which is different from what we were seeing yesterday. But a lot of ice in the northern Texas area, kind of by the Panhandle, and then back by the Arklatex area into Tennessee. Now, we're going to take a look at a more long-range model because this is probably not going to be adequate for looking at the full thing. This is the HV3 model. We're going to be looking at, this is another convection model. We're going to be looking at the precipitation type. And this says the same story as a lot of the other models, is a big heavy snowstorm for Oklahoma moving into the Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri, Illinois area, and then ice. It looks like it's going to start off as snow, going into sleet, going into ice as well. Let's go ahead and move that over to the Ohio Valley. We're going to check out, yeah, this just looks like a lot of heavy snow, especially if you're in Kentucky. You guys won for snow. If you're in central Kentucky, you guys won. You guys are going to get a ton of snow. And we're going to also take a look. Let's go back here over toward the Mid-Atlantic. Let's do the Mid-Atlantic now. So going into looking at this model, it looks like the ice is going to stay south of Virginia. Some of the models have had it up into Virginia a lot, but it looks like this model is going to keep it down south. A lot of mixed precipitation in these areas down here in Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. So that's going to be a lot of the mixed precipitation is going to be like a mixed bag. You guys, like, there's no model that's going to give you a exact answer on what that's going to be, but this literally just looks like you guys could prepare for anything. Some models say a ton of sleet. Some models say a ton of ice. Some models say a ton of freezing rain. And that's going to be bad no matter what. But freezing rain is by far the worst. And we haven't really had a, definitive model solution or anything that has happened that has stayed consistent at all. All these models have been flip-flopping on and on with different solutions, different things. We don't have a model that's going to give us an exact answer. These computer models can't do that. So we're going to have to just prepare in all of these areas that are circled for power outages that could last days. This is a possibly dangerous situation. You guys need to have a way to receive warnings. Keep food and fuel. If you have a generator, that's great. But you guys just need to stay alert on what's going on. Keep your phones charged before this if you have anything that can hold, like, use batteries to charge your phone, or any radios or anything, portable radios. Those are good as well to keep, especially if they're a weather radio like I have. Those are going to be good to keep for keeping in to tuning into those alerts and doing everything. So, looking at the GFS again, we're going to take a look at the total snowfall. I'm thinking probably south of Pittsburgh, like this guy was in the chat. This person was. Around 10 inches is possible. I think around, like I said, give or take 5 inches. This is a pretty, like, this has been a little bit south than of what it was saying earlier. And it was, like I said, you see now it says down, now it looks a little more down south. This is the newest model. So I think if you guys are in here, you guys could see around 10 to 20 inches with locally higher amounts, maybe in these areas, maybe up to 20. That's possible. And like I said, if this could not happen, like, this could be a whole different situation where instead of it being all the way down south here, the snow's actually all the way up here. And we just have to continue to watch that. But if you guys are north of Kentucky, like this area in Kentucky, you guys are probably, I'd give you a 95% chance of getting snow. I don't think there's any chance you guys get a big ice storm. But I think if you are south of that line in these areas where you're seeing those heavy snow totals, it's a little iffy. It's a little, like, it's possible that you could get a ton of ice, or it's possible you could get a ton of snow. Now, we're hoping for a lot of sleet and not a lot of freezing rain and ice, because that's a really bad thing. We do not want that. That's going to cause crippling ice damage, and we will get into that later. But looking at snow totals, it looks around 10 inches around these areas, 10 to 20 inches around these areas. And I'd give everyone in this area, other than, Kentucky, where that giant hotspot is, around 6 to 10 inches as a safe bet. And if you guys are down here, I think 3 to 4. That's going to be a 3 to 4 is a safe bet for Middle Tennessee. And zooming into this, we're going to talk more about, like, the convective models have not come out yet, a lot of them, so we can't see exactly what's going to happen. Those will come out tomorrow. I will probably do another live stream or another video tomorrow. But looking at this ice, it just looks like a dangerous situation. Like, this ice looks really crippling and really bad right here in these areas, especially in, like I was talking about, Georgia and South Carolina. That's where I'm concerned. And another bullseye right here in Mississippi, in southern Tennessee, where these ice storm warnings have already been issued by the National Weather Service for up to half an inch of ice or more. So in these areas, you guys are already in the ice storm warning, which is the highest level of winter storm, or like winter warning, you can get. So ice is the worst. And everyone in these pink and blue areas is going to get some sort of precipitation. I wouldn't be surprised if they start issuing ice storm warnings and winter storm warnings in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia area, as a lot of the models have been depicting a shift to a lot more ice in this area. So looking at the GFS, you guys can see a lot of ice in those areas that we just talked about. Looking down into the Texas area, it looks like a lot of Texas is just going to be a mess as well. You saw a lot of rain on that model. You saw a lot of ice on that model. And, oh, you guys can't see the cursor? Oh man, wait, actually, I've been drawing on the screen the whole time. Ooh, we had some technical difficulties. I thought you guys would be able to see that. Is this better? Can you guys, wait, let me see. Can you guys see that now? Can you guys see the pen now? Crap, I was doing that the whole time, encircling stuff. Yeah, you guys should be able to see the pen now. Dang, that actually just ruined the live stream. All right, well, we're going to try to go over that again and talk about where I was circling. But Texas looks to be a lot of just a lot of rain, snow, ice mix. It's really a mixed bag, and it's just going to be a mess. If you're in Texas, in these areas, it looks like it's just going to be rain to snow to ice. It's just going to be a big mess, and that could also cause a lot of power outages there. If you guys are seeing all this, you guys could be getting ice. If you guys live in any of these areas, you guys could be getting ice. Now, this is one model solution. I don't know why the screen just went dark there, but that should be a less of a ice threat than what is happening in Mississippi, in Louisiana, and Tennessee, and everyone over here on the eastern side of the Appalachians. Now, taking a look at the Nashville Weather Service, I've looked at this. I know I have a lot of viewers from around the Nashville area, and looking at the highest threat for stuff, you guys can see this yellow area. This is the National Weather Service's official forecast. They're giving, if you're south of I-40, a 50% chance of getting half an inch of ice, which is dangerous. And right in this area, this blue hatched area, is the highest freezing rain threat. So if you guys are in this area, that includes Nashville, includes Columbia, includes Lawrenceburg, includes Waynesboro, includes Hohenwald, includes Fairview, it includes Franklin. A lot of these towns in Middle Tennessee are going to be experiencing a lot of ice, and that includes me. I'm in Middle Tennessee, and I'm going to see some ice. I will keep y'all updated on what we're seeing, especially tomorrow and the day after, when I will be possibly live covering this. Now, looking at wait, hold on, where is it? Here it is. This is the risk, like, this is what the travel impact. So this is the probabilities of at least moderate travel impacts and impacts onto a city. So looking at this is going to be the 66 hours out, valid on 12 p.m. Sunday. So this is really just everywhere. You guys can see the snow is going to be causing a lot of impacts in Tennessee and up north into the Kentucky area, Tulsa, around Fort Smith. These areas could be seeing a lot of impacts as well. And this is, what is the snow amount? This is based on snow. So you guys are going to be seeing, this is the travel impacts and the impacts based on snow. And this is the extreme area. So for extreme impacts, expect substantial. Oh, sorry. We had sorry, I had to look at my phone. We have a lot of impacts for these areas. And looking at the ice impacts, this is the ice accumulation impacts. The bullseye seems to be setting up around southern Tennessee and northern Mississippi. Now, for Nashville, I know we had a request for East Nashville to get covered, a good report for East Nashville. We are looking at probably snow and ice mixed together, which you guys up there in Nashville, it's a very mixed bag. It's going to be maybe just, it could be ice and it could also be snow. Or you guys could get both, which is what I'm expecting. Expect maybe around 3 to 6 inches of snow and possibly up to a quarter inch or a half inch of ice is what I'm expecting around the Nashville area. Now, for areas south of that, toward Columbia, Florence, Alabama, Savannah, Corinth, Oxford, Greenwood, Greenville, all the way down to Monroe, you guys are going to be seeing the worst of the ice. That's what I'm thinking. The worst of the ice is going to be here, up to 1 inch plus for that area, for these areas. This is the National Weather, or the Weather Prediction Center. That's its own forecast. So that is going to be pretty accurate when it comes to that. That is the extreme impacts. Expect substantial disruptions to daily life, extreme dangerous or impossible driving conditions. Travel is not advised. Extensive and widespread closures and disruptions to infrastructure may occur. Life-saving actions may be needed. So for that area, you guys could be seeing a very dangerous situation. Now, look at this. A second bullseye is happening, like I was talking about, in these areas from snow and ice. Now, basically, what cold air damming is, and let's go ahead and go back to the GFS model. I want to talk about this. This is a phenomena that happens when cold air, we're going to take a look at this, what the models are saying. As you can see, on the day on Saturday, as the low strengthens right here, you're going to have a kind of a warm front, what's pulling this Gulf moisture up, like we were talking about. Now, this is going to go through basically the valleys of Middle Tennessee, is what the Euro was really showing. And it's going to go up these mountains and over into the Carolinas. Now, when warm air rises, it creates a cloud. So when it goes up these Appalachian mountains, it's going to go over toward this area because the storms are moving west to east, and they're going to create a lot of rain. And now, obviously, since this cold air is sliding down from Canada, it's going to push the warm air up, and you're going to have basically a warm layer in the mid levels of the atmosphere and the kind of closer to the low mid levels. And you're going to have a very cold surface like this in the 20s, 30s, and you're going to have rain when those clouds fall. They're going to be rain, and it's going to drop on the ground and freeze. Now, this hot spot of where the wind, where everything getting pushed up the mountain is turning into a cloud, and where everything is falling to the ground as freezing rain, you're going to be seeing a lot of ice, especially right there in North Georgia and the Carolinas. These areas could be seeing a ton of ice. Now, this is another hot spot that I think has the same threat as the other areas in North Tennessee, even though this model doesn't show a lot of, like, that much ice. I think a model solution in between the GFS and Euro is what's going to happen in these areas, of kind of like a mix between the both is what I think is going to happen. But obviously, yesterday I had predicted something different than today, and things change on these models. And this is looking like it's getting like more of a definitive, more of an average, but it still looks a little uncertain for these areas. Now, this is actually the same. Had some internet problems. My little name. Are we back up? I think we are back. Yes, we are back. Excuse me, y'all. I'm sorry that we just disconnected there. We had some internet problems there. I think we're back though, and we're looking at the models again. Sorry about that. Like, again, sorry about that. I think we had the internet actually go down there. So we're back. I think everything should be good. Let me know if you guys can hear me well, if anything is weird, if it's laggy. Let me know if anything's bad right now, just for like a second here while we reconnect. Okay. Now, looking at this model, we are going to go look at the precipitation type here a second and look at the timeline. So this model has it really starting out as wintry mix, not snow. This model is not great at handling precipitation and precipitation types. It's not the best. This is not a very reliable model, but we're just going to look at it because it is going out to this time, and we will see what it is thinking as well as to put it into this main, like, the GFS is probably the best model to look at right now, and once the HRRR gets there, it will be the best model to look at. So that'll be tomorrow. This model really has a lot of rain. Like this model does not look like what the other models were looking like, the GFS and the HRRR. Now, I also want to take a look at the HREF model. So this model is a model that takes all of the convective models that we use for forecasting severe thunderstorms and high resolution data from them and puts them into their own model that spits out an average. Now, this average is basically plotted on here, and we're going to be looking at what we're going to be seeing with this model. Now, this model only goes out 48 hours, just like the HRRR. So we're not going to be able to see everything, but this is more of a better consensus as a model, you know? Looking at this is going to look like a lot of mixed precipitation. Now, this model doesn't really have a sleet and freezing rain. Like, it can't define it very well because of how many models it has. So this is why it said mixed, and it says mixed there. So looking at this area, this could be any precipitation, hopefully sleet, but it also could be freezing rain. Now, looking north of that, like all the models were showing heavy, heavy snow in the central and north parts of Oklahoma, North Arkansas, all the way up into Tennessee's. This model, as the average, you can see it's actually looking like the line is staying more south than the other models are showing. It's staying into the Alabama and Mississippi area and leaving snow for Tennessee. So this model is what I think is going to happen. Pretty high resolution. It doesn't go out yet all the way to the full event, so we can't see everything. That'll be coming in the coming days. But looking at this, I think that this is going to be a pretty accurate about what you're going to get. If you guys are in this area, expect ice, a lot of ice. So this is Friday, starting Friday and going into Saturday morning, because we can't go look farther than that. So all of this is going to be ice. You guys live in these areas, ice. Could be mixed precipitation. It could be sleet. It could be freezing rain. Prepare for power outages here. If you are above this in these areas, expect a lot of snow. I just put, that looks like show. Snow. So expect snow up here, ice up here, and rain down here. Just the abbreviations for those. So rain, it looks like a lot. The story looks a lot like rain in Texas. And up there in the, like, in between the Red River Valley and everything like that, looks a lot more like ice. And we actually might want to take a look at some soundings here on the NAM, or not, maybe not the NAM, maybe the RAP. Let's see if the RAP goes out as far. I have to find a run that goes out super far. 21Z, okay. Well, let's see. RAP soundings are pretty good. The RAP also shows that it's going to start out as snow, just like the HRRR, and move into some freezing rain. So we're going to take a couple soundings here before I end the live stream and wrap it up. Let's take a sounding here in South Tennessee and northern Mississippi. Let's go ahead and view that here. So I'm going to show you guys this image. This is a sounding. It's going to look a little scary, like you've never seen this before. But basically, this is a plot of the temperature going up into the atmosphere. So as these are measured in millibars, so the surface is around 1,000 millibars, and the mid-levels is around 500 millibars, and then this is all the way up by the tropopause, all the way up there around 100 millibars. So basically, looking at a snow profile, you guys can see that not a huge warm layer right there. You see that this is all below freezing during this area. You see the parcel of air, basically if you put an ice crystal in that, floating down from the cloud into this temperature along this red line, you see it never goes above freezing. So it falls to the ground as snow. Now for sleet, you have a very large warm nose, basically like this again, where you have a very large area that goes above freezing and then instantly drops down to below freezing. So when it's below freezing for a lot of time, like this right down here, that's a lot as well. That's a very warm nose and a very cold below freezing surface. So that's going to allow for that ice crystal to turn into rain and then refreeze as sleet before it hits the ground. Now notice, this is freezing rain. You can't see it because of my webcam, but this is freezing rain over here. So you see a very large warm nose that's able to melt that ice crystal into the rain, and then a very stout drop off to very freezing temperatures, which doesn't allow that raindrop to freeze as ice. So it's still a raindrop. And then when it hits the ground, it instantly freezes. So looking at this sounding that we took here, so this is the same thing. A little bit kind of like sleet almost, but let me pick a brighter color here. It looks like freezing rain, like a classic freezing rain sounding. 26 degrees at Fahrenheit at the surface, tracking the freezing temperatures all the way up, all the way across like that. You see we have a very large warm nose, and that's going to melt the snow coming in that area, and it's going to make it rain, and then instantly a pretty large drop off down to very freezing temperatures, which is going to bring cold freezing rain that freezes on contact and is going to be dangerous to tree limbs, power lines, and a lot of things like that. Now, unlike the roads, you can't salt a power line. I mean, you can't prepare a power line for what's going to happen, especially in Tennessee and the areas in the deep south. There's a lot of trees, and a lot of Tennessee is forests, and a lot of these areas is forests. So looking at this, tree branches are going to fall onto power lines. Power lines are going to fall over just due to the pressure from thousands of pounds of snow and ice. And this area just needs to prepare, especially looking at the RAP. The RAP model is looking really significant on these ice. It looks like a very classic ice scenario into these areas. So if you're in these areas, prepare for a lot of snow. Obviously, this model does not go out at all past this, so we cannot see what the soundings are going to look like in Georgia till tomorrow. This model is really good with soundings. Let's take another one in North Mississippi just to see how we're looking. Same thing, maybe even a little more kind of towards sleet. This is looking like really just a really warm nose. Instant drop off down to that freezing rain. Another classic freezing rain sounding. And that's really going to be what the main story is, especially on this RAP model. This is a pretty accurate model that's been used for a couple of years. It's basically second in front of the HRRR. Or not, second behind the HRRR. The HRRR is the best model. But this model is really good for soundings. It has some of the best soundings. A lot of people use them for reanalyzing old events and looking at new forecasts. The NAM and the RAP are pretty good with that. So it looks like that first part is going to move into Tennessee on Sunday and Saturday, and that's going to lead to a lot of ice, especially this looks like it could make it to the Nashville area. Luckily, Nashville looks to be like a lot of snow and a lot of sleet, which is good, because Nashville getting a lot of ice is bad, but you can see it's lifting north. That boundary is lifting north. Now, this is not going to be the whole thing. I expect this model, and a lot of these models have been leaving a lot more dry air over here, and a lot of the GFS is not doing that. The GFS, you saw all those snow totals. That's probably because of more training rain moving through. Now, obviously, the more snow and rain and ice that we see on this map in the forecasts means that the more it tracks over toward the cyclone, toward the area as it's moving out, the more the snow totals are going to increase. Now, thankfully, a lot of these, like I said, a lot of the CAMs, the convective models, are giving more of a dry slot in these areas after this first round moves through. If you looked at the models the other day and even last night, it looked more like a second round thing. But as you can see, this kind of jet stream of moisture coming in from the California area also seems to show more freezing rain. I don't know if this is going to continue to show up on the new models and if this will move over, but it looks like the timeline is, if you're in Texas in the deep south over here, you guys are going to be looking at snow starting on Friday. So your precipitation will start on Friday. Now over here in Tennessee and in Kentucky, Illinois, Alabama, and everybody, you guys will start on Saturday morning. So that'll probably be Saturday morning, and everybody in the mid-Atlantic will start to see stuff happening on Sunday and Saturday night to Sunday, and then into Monday as well, going up the Northeast. Also want to cover this just briefly, especially because I didn't cover this earlier for any viewers we have here in the Northeast. It looks like it will make its way up to the Northeast as a very strong nor'easter, classic nor'easter, and will give a lot of snow to the Massachusetts area. Into the New York City looks to be all snow, no ice. Like I said, the other models were kind of being iffy on where the ice line is going to be. So if you guys live in Virginia, everyone south of central Virginia should get ice, and everybody north should get snow. I don't know if this model is a little overdoing that, but like I said, the warm nose could be extreme with this. But in the Carolinas, in southern Virginia, you guys are looking at a lot of ice, like I was talking about. But let's look at this total snowfall here. Total snowfall. Here we go. Let's take a look at that. So, look at that. Probably around 10 to, I'd say 10 to 15 inches in these areas. Locally, higher amounts could be possible, especially near the New York area. We could see up to maybe 15 on this model. Like I said, take away maybe 2-3 inches, 5 inches from this, especially because this is going to be uncertain, just to expect that. But always prepare for the worst. Prepare for 15 inches of snow, and let's hope, if you don't like snow, and if for travel, if you're going to travel, if you like snow, you're probably hoping for a lot of snow. So you want to hope for the best, and prepare for the worst, especially if you guys are in deep south, like in those ice areas. I know I'm repeating myself, but if you guys are in those areas, prepare for the worst and just hope for the best. That's the best thing I can say. That's what we're doing here. We have our generator ready. We are ready to be ready. We have propane here. We are ready to be nice and warm here if the power does end up going out. And I think it is likely, as the National Weather Service has stated in the winter storm warnings. They're saying expect power outages and tree damage due to the ice. Travel could be impossible. So expect, not just it's possible, consider it, expect power outages and tree damage. So if you guys are in the Middle Tennessee, that's the winter storm warning. That encompasses everybody in Middle Tennessee. Expect power outages and tree damage. Now, down here, this is where I was talking about earlier, the ice storm warning. This is the same wording, just up to an inch a quarter of an inch and a half an inch plus. Locally higher amounts are possible. So, likely amount of ice in these areas, quarter of an inch, to 0.5 or half an inch of ice in these areas. That's really going to wrap up the stream. Thank you guys for joining us. That I've talked about the news models and everything. We even looked at some soundings. Thank you guys for joining me here. This was a great first stream, although my internet did end up going out. Thank you guys for joining me. If you guys want to ask me any questions before I end stream, probably here in 5 or 10 minutes, go ahead and put those in the chat. If you guys want to ask about your area, put that in the chat if you would like. I could cover that before I go. But just know that this is about to wrap up. I think this has been a good stream. I think we have talked about a lot of every single area. But like I said, if you guys are in any of these blue areas, any of these pink areas, especially if you guys are in the dark pink, prepare for days without power in these areas down here, especially by the ice. That's going to be a very big risk. And I think, like I said, even though you're not in any pink or dark pink yet, you guys will start to see those warnings be issued tomorrow as the event nears. Obviously, it's a watch, not a warning yet, as it's not happening anytime soon for you guys till the weekend. But you guys could be seeing those ice storm warnings, especially in Georgia and South Carolina, where that model was showing that really big hot spot right there. So 2 hot spots are looking likely to set up in these areas and these areas. Those two areas, big ice. That's where I'm thinking big ice. So if you guys are in those areas, prepare for days and maybe even a week or two without power. So just prepare. Don't be scared. Just don't panic and prepare for this as it's happening. If you have a generator, a gas heater, an electric, oh, well, not an electric heater, you can't plug that in, but a something to warm you up, a generator, a heater, something that you can use for electricity. Keep those alerts on your phone as the situation evolves, especially even during it. You could be in the ice one minute, and then you could be getting snow, or you could be getting ice and then rain. So just stay tuned to the channel here. I might be posting, I'm definitely going to either post a video tomorrow or do a live stream again tomorrow, and then I'll be live Saturday to cover it. I don't know if I'll be live Sunday, but stay tuned to me. Stay tuned to someone like Ryan Hall. He will give you, I know he's going live tonight talking about it, and he's going to go live tomorrow and all week, all the way to Monday, talking about this. He does multiple videos a day. He's a really good resource. But stay tuned to all this. Thank you guys for watching. I think I'm going to end the live. I don't think no one has asked any questions in the chat. I think I'm going to end it here. Thank you guys for joining us. This has been a great first stream. Thank you guys for joining us. I will see you guys tomorrow in my next video or next piece of content. All right.